창립자이자 CEO인 김순희 대표를 무대에 모시겠습니다.
Thank you all. It has been a great 10 years. And I always enjoy coming here to Seoul, meeting all the smart developers and eating the great food. So here, I'm here to talk about the state of Unreal today. You know what? At Epic, we build games, and then we share all the technology we develop with everybody else so that you can make your games, and you can have all the benefits that we have when we build our games. Sorry. Epic is founded on building games and sharing our work. So, the state of gaming is changing very quickly in the game industry now. Fortnite has reached 250 million players worldwide across 7 platforms, including mobile, PC, and console. And we're seeing that gaming is increasingly becoming social and multi-platform. Most Fortnite players play with friends across other types of devices, across mobile, PC, and console. And a large number of Fortnite players have played the game on multiple types of devices. And we think that this will be an important trend in changing the game industry, especially across the world. We're reaching North America and Western markets requires console support in the future. And so, at Epic we have both the Unreal Engine, the Epic Online Services, and the Epic Games Store as our tools for reaching customers and helping game developers alike. Sorry. Right. Anyway, Unreal Engine remains available to everybody with full C++ source code. More than 7.5 million developers have used Unreal since it launched in 2014. And this includes everybody from small indie developers all the way up to high-end developers building games like Fortnite, PUBG, and Blade & Soul Revolution. Sorry, we need to get this. Anyway, Epic Online Services are a new offering. These are the services that we built for Fortnite and have scaled up to support a huge number of players, and now we're opening up to all developers to use for free. This includes systems like Friends, matchmaking, and cloud storage. Sorry, we're not building this as another closed ecosystem or another walled garden. Rather, we're partnering with many partners such as Ubisoft. For example, we're linking our Epic Games friend system and Ubisoft's friend system and account system so that players on both Uplay and Epic Games Store can connect together. And we're beginning to work with many more companies across the game industry. We envision the future of the industry as being interconnected with all players across all platforms being able to connect and to share all of their data everywhere they go. And the Epic Games Store is our new PC storefront, built with an 8812 revenue sharing model. We have a lot of great news to share later in this presentation on the Epic Games Store. So, all these services exist because we needed them for our own games, and because we wanted to make them available for you to build your own games. We're helping with all these services, but Epic is also trying to help developers financially. In 2015, we launched Unreal Dev Grants, a program to bring $5 million of funding to developers around the world to assist them in making great games. And now, thanks to Fortnite's success, we've launched an expanded program called Epic Mega Grants. This is a 5-year program to provide funding across game development, enterprise applications, film and television, academic efforts, and open source. And these grant funds are not investments or loans, but are funds provided purely to help developers without any further obligations or strings attached. And this fund is going to distribute $100 million over the next 5 years. Next, I'm going to talk about Epic Online Services. And to support Fortnite, we built systems for cloud storage, friends, and matchmaking. And now we're opening up all of these services to all developers. An important element of these services is that they can scale to support a huge number of players. Fortnite has seen more than 250 million players and has hit more than 10 million peak concurrent users globally. So these services can scale to support the biggest games in the world. And we're also going to be operating these services completely for free. These services support all engines and also all game stores, and there are no limitations. You can use the Epic Online Services with the Unreal Engine, with Unity, with Crytek, or with your company's own engine. And you can release your game on Steam, on Epic Games Store, Google Play, iOS, Android. You have complete control over everything, and we'll support your game for free regardless. So we operate these services for free because Epic benefits from the increased store usage, from the increased service usage. For example, when you use the Fortnite friend system, your players have access to all of their friends from Fortnite around the world, and also when your players add new friends into the friend system by making new friend connections, Fortnite benefits and all games benefit. And so these services provide a way that all developers can contribute together to one ecosystem that supports all platforms and can go wherever your users and your customers go in the future. We've also been able to achieve enormous economies of scale by operating these services in Fortnite, supporting such a huge number of players. And so we're able to operate the services very economically and essentially operate them for you for free, launching in 2019. Now, some of these services are Identity and Friends, as I talked about, with 250 million users with almost 1 billion friend connections across all games. We also support cross-platform inventory systems and player data systems so that you can have back-end storage for games across all platforms. We support in-game achievements and leaderboards, as you see here in Fortnite. And we support matchmaking across all platforms and across all territories globally. And later in 2019, we'll add support for text chat and voice chat across all platforms. And these Epic Online Services are exposed through the Epic Online SDK. This is written in the C language, so it supports integration with all other languages and all other engines. Currently, the SDK supports Windows, Mac, and Linux, and it will shortly be coming to Android, iOS, PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox. And so later this year, we'll also provide complete engine integrations into Unreal Engine and into Unity. So we also have a website, the Epic Games Developer Portal, where you can access and manage your online services and look at metrics. Currently, it supports features like game analytics, so you can track DAU, MAU, retention, new players, geographic details, and other features like this. And with the Epic Online Services, your data belongs to you. The data from your game is private to your game. Epic will access it only for the purpose of providing the services to you. So we do not aggregate data, we do not use it for advertising, we do not sell it, we do not share it with customers. We maintain complete privacy of all data in compliance with all the global laws, including the GDPR in Europe. We also provide a ticketing system for customer support. So it's very easy for a small game developer to provide support services. And all these services are coming online now. You can visit our website, see our services that are operating today, see our roadmap for future services that are coming online, and get started working with the services right now. And next, I'd like to talk about the future of the Unreal Engine, powering 3D games. We're making major advances in rendering in Unreal Engine 4, and our goal here is to achieve photorealism, meaning game pixels that look exactly like the real world. And here's some of the Unreal Engine technologies that make this possible. We start with physically based rendering, which simulates realistic interaction between light, objects, and shadows. And we have a physical material system that supports completely accurate materials of all types, metal and plastic and wood and all these synthetic materials. And these systems have achieved such a level of realism that it's now used by filmmakers, movie makers, and car makers for advertising products. This is a McLaren supercar that was modeled first in Unreal before they finalized the design, and they're using these same 3D assets in all of their marketing materials too. The engine also has a photographic effect system, which simulates the real-world cameras and lenses so that rendered scenes in the engine can look exactly like movie scenes using specific equipment. The features for this include lens distortion, bloom, and chromatic aberration. Also motion blur, depth of field, and anti-aliasing. And together these features produce incredibly realistic images that meet the professional needs of the television and film industries. And so they're especially ready for the next generation of realistic games. And the hardest problem in computer graphics is producing realistic-looking humans, digital humans. And Epic is investing very heavily in this area. Here we're seeing some of the digital humans efforts we made over the past 5 years. Here we've been tuning algorithms to support realistic faces, realistic face motion, eyes, hair, teeth, expressions, animations, and ultimately the goal is to simulate human emotions realistically. And all of the features you're seeing here are available now in Unreal Engine 4, together with many examples of realistic content. Epic is also investing heavily in real-time ray tracing features. We started by demonstrating a partnership with Lucasfilm, ILM, and NVIDIA to preview real-time ray tracing within the Star Wars universe. All of the features that were used in this demo at GDC last year are now available in Unreal Engine 4.22. And at SIGGRAPH, we demonstrated real-time racing with a Porsche car to demonstrate physical interactions between a realistic car body and the environment around it. And most recently this year, we partnered with a team of filmmakers to build a real-time ray tracing demo that combines digital humans with real-time ray tracing of lights, shadows, and reflections. What we're about to see is a video recorded from a demo running in real time on an NVIDIA GeForce 2080 GTX. Let's take a look. And now I'd like to take a closer look at some of the features we're seeing here in this video. So the most interesting aspect you see initially are the reflections. The reflections from the water are ray traced in real time and avoid all the artifacts of planar reflections and screen space reflections. They can reflect objects that are off screen and reflect them with complete accuracy. We're also seeing the effect of area lights with soft shadows. Here we can make the area light bigger and make the shadow softer over time. And here we're seeing real-time glossy reflections off of the crown. And here we're going to modify the smoothness of the crown in real time. So if we make it smooth enough, then we'll be able to see the character's face bouncing off of the crown made out of metal. So all these features together are the key to generating highly realistic images. And even though this is running on a high-end PC right now, it's not going to be very long, not going to be too many more hardware generations before these technologies are available on all platforms. And all the features we've demonstrated here are available now in Unreal Engine 4.22 in early access. And now I'd like to talk about some of the other things we're working on outside of rendering. A big priority at Epic has been developer iteration time. Because Unreal Engine 4 is written in C++ for maximum performance, we've been optimizing the compiling of the engine and of game code. First of all, we've optimized full compiles of the engine by about 30%, but we've optimized incremental compiling by more than 300%, so you can work faster in making changes and previewing them in the engine. We've also added support for live coding. Using the Live++ system that's been available publicly for a while. This system enables you to recompile C++ code while your game is still running and to reload the code dynamically so that you can adjust gameplay code in real time. Engineers at Epic have been using Live++ for about 4 months now, and it's really changed and improved the way that we develop both the Unreal Engine and Fortnite to make us more productive. We've also been doing a lot of work to optimize performance. Unreal Engine now supports Fortnite, a large open world game with 100 players running 60 frames per second on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and many of the new high-end Android and iOS devices. And these efforts are improving the performance of all Unreal Engine 4 games. One of the major optimizations has been in LOD to make it possible to offer very high-end content that can automatically scale down to low-end platforms without additional work by developers. This includes support for scaling skeletal meshes, hierarchical LOD and levels, and static mesh LOD generation. Finally, Unreal Engine's renderer is now significantly faster due to moving much more of the rendering code from the CPU to the GPU, including scene traversal. This work was necessary to implement ray tracing, but now it's also benefiting performance across all platforms, including mobile. And finally, Unreal Engine 4.22 supports more platforms than ever before. We support all the mobile platforms, AR and VR platforms, consoles, PC, and next generation streaming platforms also. And particularly, we've been working a lot to support new AR devices. We support the Google and Apple AR platforms as well as Magic Leap and HoloLens. Recently, we worked with Magic Leap to create a new AR demo producing Micah, this character, which interacts in real time with characters through AR glasses. And we've also been partnering very closely with the Parnas group on the new OpenXR standard. Unreal Engine 4.22.1 has a preview of OpenXR support, which will greatly benefit open platforms. And finally, we've been working with Microsoft to support HoloLens 2. This is an amazing new augmented reality device. It's currently aimed at high-end enterprise applications, but I think it is the closest device we've seen yet to AR devices of the future. Unreal Engine both runs natively on the HoloLens device and can also stream content from a high-end PC with high-end GPU to the AR device, so you can get a completely photorealistic ray-traced experience in AR. And all these features are available now in Unreal Engine 4.22. Now let's talk about some of the games they're using Unreal Engine 4. A huge set of world-class developers around the world are using the engine. The teams we've shown here range from 1 person up to 1,000 people, building games of all sizes and all genres. One of the most impressive partners is Netmarble. Netmarble created Lineage 2 Revolution, an open-world MMO for Android and iOS. This is an amazing game. It supports 200 players in a session on mobile devices. And in its first 1 year of launch, it made over $1 billion worldwide. We're incredibly happy to see Korean developers bringing major worldwide successful games to the world market. But Netmarble's most interesting new project is Blade and Soul Revolution, an amazing new MMO. It launched in South Korea and is currently #1 and #2 on the iOS and Android app stores. Now let's take a look at what they're achieving in real time on mobile devices. So congratulations to Netmarble. Another amazing game, PUBG, both the PUBG game for PC by PUBG Corp and Bluehole, and also PUBG Mobile for mobile devices. PUBG Mobile has reached more than 200 million users in less than a year, has more than 30 million monthly active users in the world, the #1 active users in the world, powered by Unreal Engine 4 with separate games for PC and for mobile. And next I'd like to talk about the Epic Games Store. This started out as the Epic Games Launcher in 2014. We built it because we needed a way to distribute our own games to customers, and we didn't like the terms offered by Steam and other app stores. So we built this, and then last year we opened it up to everybody as the Epic Games Store. There are more than 85 million PC accounts in the Epic ecosystem. Real accounts were used by real players playing games on the Epic Games Store and playing Fortnite, as well as Unreal Engine users. So the major feature of the store is an 88-12 revenue split. Epic Store takes 12% and the developers get 88%. And we believe that these economics are very important because most developers make much less than a 30% profit margin. And so often with games on app stores, we see the store is making more profit than the developers themselves. And we don't think that that's fair. So we moved to this 88-12 revenue model, and Epic's 12% enables us to still run a profitable business after paying for the cost of payment processing, customer support, and bandwidth. And so 88-12 is our permanent revenue sharing rate. You can count on that for the long-term future. And our strategy is to grow the Epic Games Store with these 3 components of our strategy. First of all, we combined the Fortnite user base with a new free game released every 2 weeks to bring in new users, plus major exclusive new PC games from developers and publishers around the world. One of the biggest successes on the Epic Games Store has been World War Z. It's an exclusive game. The developer made a sales forecast based on their earlier plans to release the game on Steam. Then they moved to the Epic Games Store, and they exceeded their Steam sales forecast on PC and sold more than 300,000 copies in their first month. And that's developed by Saber Interactive, and they also took advantage of the 8812 revenue sharing model to give gamers a better price on the PC game. So game developers made more money from the game, and consumers got a better price, and everybody benefited from these new store economics. And here are some of the developers and publishers that have committed to the Epic Games Store with major titles. This includes a lot of really great games, like The Walking Dead, World War Z, Division 2, Anno 1800, Borderlands, Ashen, also Metro Exodus, Hades, Journey, and Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventure. And many, many more games are coming. There will be new announcements throughout 2019 of exciting new projects. And the store launched with a small feature set, and we're adding more features over time. We've made a store roadmap and put it online publicly for everybody to follow as we evolve the store and add new features and conduct our long-term planning with it. Now I'd like to go back to Unreal Engine 4 for a bit. We've seen the rendering capabilities of the engine, but what's even more important than rendering is interaction and the tools that developers have available to make interesting gameplay in action games. And physics has been a major limiting factor in previous games. We've seen some rigid body collision and ragdoll physics and occasionally some cloth. But now it's just becoming possible to produce Hollywood quality physics simulations in real time in games. Unreal Engine 4 now includes a new physics system known as Chaos, which supports very efficient rigid body dynamics and destruction. Here we're going to see a video of this demo running in real time on a high-end PC. Let's take a look.
Breaking news. Robo-resistance leader Chaos has broken into a robo-running research lab to solve a top-secret military artifact. She has managed to evade authorities by using its store line. All agents have been dispatched.
Okay, Agent 38, it's Renegade recall time. Oh, she's fast. And dangerous. Time to take these chain guns for a spin. Are these guys made of explosives? She's making a break for it. I'm compensating for your lack of skill with higher caliber weaponry. Enjoy your new robo-suppression autocannon. That'll look right out. Don't get too sidetracked by Chaos's guns. She's getting away. Activate rocket boost to get after her. She's crawling into that building. Time to upgrade to sticky bombs. This ought to level the playing field. She's gone into Robo-Ready headquarters. That is a lot of targets. I know. Let's just recall the entire building. Demolition-grade architectural recall systems are now online. Good thing it's a bank holiday. This place wasn't in great shape before we arrived. Let's get a teleport out of that one. Head off at the pass. Now would be a good time to figure out what that thing actually does. Oh, that's not good. Let her go, Agent. I think we've got bigger problems. On the bright side, you've been approved for mandatory overtime.
Thanks, that's the chaos physics system. And we believe that next generation physics will change the future of action games, both PC games and also mobile games. And so, to invest in physics, Epic has assembled a world-class team of physics developers from the game industry, from the film industry, and from academia. And they're putting together all of the techniques that have been used in film and games together to build this real-time physics system that we believe can enable entirely new types of games. Anyway, a preview of Chaos is coming to the next version of Unreal Engine, 4.23, and then it will follow up with entirely new features for next generation cloth, vehicle simulations, character physics, and much more. And that concludes the state of Unreal. In closing, I would like to thank all of you for the support that you put in Epic for these 10 years that we've been in Korea, and for trusting us to provide game development technologies and now services to your companies. I started Epic Games in 1991 out of passion for creating games and technology and sharing tools with other game creators. And now, 28 years later, gaming is becoming the biggest and most influential business in the history of entertainment, bigger even than movies and television. I'd like to say how grateful Epic is that you've been willing to partner with us and that we've been able to achieve so many great things together as a community. Thank you very much.